We're live. We're live. Can you believe that? So some people have said, "Oh my gosh, you're late. You're an hour late." So no, I'm not late. Daylight savings time came into effect, and we are exactly on time. And guys, that I think except for one case, because I was caught up at a restaurant, that I start exactly on time on a live stream. So thank you guys for watching and coming in tonight. And this is like, it's so always so exciting to come here and do this every Friday. I like, it's a special thing for me to come do this. It's a treat. It's never a burden for me to come here, and I really appreciate it because it's a way to actually talk to people in my community. And yes, it is Adult Beverage Friday, and I had a couple of IPAs that were like really strong. They were like 11%, and it was like hitting me, and it's like, Normally I don't even feel anything before I do the broadcast, but I have to say that I felt those couple of beers at 11%, a couple of 11% IPA. So thank you guys, thank you for being here, and our topic tonight will be generally about censorship. And hello, Keith in Miami. Now, I know that some of you will not like my topic because, you think this is politically focused, but it's not. Let's just talk about that for a moment, the political side of this. I'm old enough to have seen like multiple sides of this over the years. And way back when, the people that got censored were the people on the left. And I don't know what happened, I guess because Google and Facebook got power, and then it got shifted, and now people think it's people on the right who get censored. And I don't really look at it like left and right. I'm looking at it as a matter of ideas. And censorship doesn't even apply to left or right for me, because I get censored in a way, and my topic has nothing to do with left or right. It has to do with privacy. But privacy means it's anti-Google, anti-Facebook, anti-tech, the tech internet companies. So in a way, then I fall into this category, and I get branded, and I always have this fear of getting censored. And the last few, but just to make it clear here, the last few broadcasts were in fact censored. The last few live streams, they were demonetized. I believe 3 of my last live streams were demonetized. And, because I don't know why, to be honest with you. We run a clean broadcast here, and the AI, which we're going to talk about tonight, the AI said, you mentioned some word, and we think it's a bad word, so we're going to censor you. And the only word that I used that the AI may look at is the word Z, and it's like, come on, that's not even a bad word. So anyway, just to show you what happens here. So I got demonetized on the last 3 broadcasts, and I don't really care. I don't really care. It's not it. It's not what sustains this channel, and your support will make sure that we don't have to care about that. If you support me on buying my products and supporting me on Patreon and super chats and so on, we don't have to care what Google thinks about our topic, especially today. This is a very, very bad topic, relating to Google, because I'm going to talk about Jigsaw. The P word. What is the P word? What is the B word? Okay, don't type too much Z words, because they're like looking at the Z words as like, we need, that is not advertiser friendly to be using Z words, like, I was gonna say Z, but I'm not even gonna say it. This is a test. We're gonna do this broadcast I'm going to keep myself from saying Z as often as I can, even though it's not a bad word. I have a video that explains what it means, but it's not a bad word. In fact, you can look it up on Urban Dictionary. You can look what the Z on Urban Dictionary, and I invented that word. So if it got to Urban Dictionary, you can see that I had enough pull to get it up there. Zucchini, hey you. So anyway, guys, the topic today is censorship. And some of you look at censorship as a kind of a political thing where, oh, I don't really care if the people on the right get censored because I don't want to hear about them. So that's good that they're getting censored by Google and Twitter and Facebook and so on. That's really good. That's fine. So we can get our messages heard on the other side. And this is really foolish attitude, because it's not even true, by the way, since, I make sure people understand that I don't take a side, especially with politics here on my channel, and I listen to everyone. I'm friendly with anyone on any side, and just, my thing is free speech. That's what I stand for, free speech. And somebody made a comment. I'm going to make sure you understand what the comment is in the video. Somebody made a comment to me. But somebody came to me on Brax and said, I'm being censored on Twitter. This person was on the left, and he was making some comments about Trump, and Twitter censored him. And I looked, and it was in fact true. So it's not just a side. It's actually censorship does occur on both sides, and some of it is kind of arbitrarily made, the decision for this. And what you actually don't understand is this is part of a bigger picture, and has to do with, I was going to say ezzing with a Z, Zing. Can't even say that anymore. Can't even say it, because this is a test. I'm going to do a broadcast without saying it. It's about. I forgot what I was talking about, but this person was being censored, and just because. In fact, I'm being censored now. Think about it. Look at me now. I'm being forced not to say a word that I always say here. And because if I say it, they're going to demonetize me. Isn't that symbolic right there? I don't even talk politics here, and I'm going to be demonetized because of my anti-Facebook comments, which is what the Z word is. It's an the zebra. There it is, great gold. Zebra. From now on, I'm going to just say zebra. So I'm afraid that, well, I'm not really afraid. I don't really care, but it's just a test to see. It's not like I make money from Google advertising. I mean, my goodness, guys, I can't live off Google advertising. But it's Google that, presents my videos to you. And if they don't share it, then I don't get subscribers. It's that simple. So if they think that, we're not going to make money from this because there's no advertising, then they don't share the video, and then I don't get the subscribers. And so basically they put me in a rock and a hard place. So I got to say, okay, I got to conform. Guys. That's what this is all about. Is somebody saying I have to conform, because if I don't conform, I lose out. This is really what censorship is about. It's about somebody saying, you have to conform to us, whoever us is. In this case, Google, Facebook, whoever. They say, I need to conform. And I'm not even talking politics here, okay? I'm not even to politics. I tell people I hate politics. I really do, because I don't trust either side. So if you ask me if I care who wins for president, not really, because I don't think it's going to make any difference. I was thinking, I wonder, by the way, during the Obama administration, he actually flat out said on TV, he said, the NSA is not spying on you. So that's zebraed up, guys. Zebraed up, guys. So I said, wow, that's really a zebraed up comment. Because, he's obviously lying there. And now here we are in 2020, and I got to go face the same issue and say, are we, did anything change in the last 4 years relating to that? Well, obviously not. And I wonder why not. Does the president of this country really have power? Or is it really run by the permanent staff of the three-letter agencies? And they decide to tell whoever up the ranks what they want us to know. Or they can decide not to tell us anything, in which case then we go about our lives. And some of us think, oh my, life is so good. We're so free in this country. Yet, I am not free to say whatever I want to say. And guys, think about this. And don't come to me and say, oh, you use the word guys. I'm not a guy. Okay, guys and gals. Do I need to say folks? Come on. We're in modern times here. Everyone on YouTube says guys. So listen, guys. It's when you listen to see, I forgot what I'm saying now. The commons requires free speech and self-responsibility for functions. Folks, yeah, well, I tried that a few times, but it's just everyone on YouTube says guys. The girls say guys. So what am I supposed to do? So the point is that someone decides that, oh yeah, we whatever you're saying doesn't conform to us, and so we're gonna knock you off the apps. And this is partly what is related to my Google phone business, because not my business, but the business of the Google phones, because they basically two companies have focused all information, and up to 70% of the information is focused on two platforms. One is Android and one is iOS. And if you're not on iOS and Android, you are, you're toast. So if iOS and Android decides you're not going to be on our platform, that's it for you. I mean, you're not going to get hurt. I don't know what it is you're saying, but you're not going to get hurt. And my thing is, zebra that, guys. Why should you use your phone and be stuck to whatever Android and iOS says? There's other platforms. Go on a computer. Go on a zebraed computer. Yes, zebraed. Z. Because I can't say because I'm censored. And go get a zebring computer. And you can do whatever you want. And you can go to any website you want. And no one's going to censor you because there's no gateway that exists with iOS and Google. So let me just tell you something interesting and how this connects to the topic of tonight, which has to do with Jigsaw. And by the way, boy, you're like zebra for zebra. Expand the Fediverse. Backdoors in all hard. Boy, you're all talking unrelated things here. So the topic really is about Jigsaw. And the reason I say that is because when you go to a lot of websites, and I'm talking about Facebook, I'm talking about the New York Times, I'm talking about pretty much a lot of mainstream media, they've actually used the services of Jigsaw. And by the way, what that means is if you make a comment on any of the websites of the ones I mentioned, which by the way have publicly stated they're using Jigsaw, and some are not publicly stating it, but they are using Jigsaw. So basically, the New York Times, the Facebook, and so on, your comments and whatever you post on these platforms are being reviewed by a zebring AI. The zebring AI is basically looking at your comments and saying, "Zebra, you're not, you're not, you're not conforming to the AI. The AI decides what is right, and the AI decided that it is not right what you're saying, so we're gonna delete it from view." Let me just talk about censorship in kind of a big picture way. I am not a big fan of censorship. Somebody made a comment on my Facebook. I don't have a Facebook. My YouTube video, the recent one on politics your politics is profiled, and this gentleman from the photo is an older gentleman, said, "I don't want my kids to be exposed to Alex Jones and to Q." That's what this guy said. "I don't want my kids to be exposed to Alex Jones and Q. So yes, I want." Well, he didn't say the yes, but it's implied that censoring is okay because it conforms to his views. So therefore, he didn't want to see his kids see Q and Alex Jones. Now, I don't really care, if Alex Jones gets any attention or not. I don't watch Alex Jones, so I don't really care. And I have my own thoughts about Alex Jones, but I'm not going to even care about that. But what's wrong with you, my friend, whoever posted that? Did you lose your ability to make your own zebring decisions? I mean, you can't make a decision for yourself and say, "Hey, I don't want to listen to zebring Alex Jones, so I could block Alex Jones. I could block anything from Q or any Q fan. But no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let Google Jigsaw to decide, because that's what's being used. The Jigsaw AI is deciding, oh yeah, I'm going to let the Jigsaw AI decide that we're not going to see Q, Alex Jones, that's on one side, and maybe some other entities on the left." And it's like, wow. Doesn't that reek of CCP to you? And by the way, Zebra. Somebody actually made a comment on my video that says that I am a zebring CCP operative. And I said, "Zebra, you." Wow. To refer to me as anything connected with Zebra, with the CCP, that is the exact opposite of everything I zebring believe to be affiliated with zebring CCP. I'm not even Chinese. I don't know how somebody who's not Chinese gets involved with mainland China. I am not Chinese. So, come on. Okay? So, to be even claiming that I am, I'm talking to Google phones because I want to dump Google spying. Yes, I use Google here intelligently. And, it's the point is I have to use them to get to you. But my goodness, to claim that somehow by supporting, the anti-spying attitude that I have, that I'm pro-CCP. Do you understand what a CCP means? That is the opposite of freedom, people. Some of these kids grow up, they don't understand what the CCP means. CCP means zebring dictatorship. You don't have a zebring thought. Z, and Z. You don't have a thought. Somebody decides for you, and now you think you're in America, and then somehow you're free, and then the AI from Jigsaw says, "No, we're going to limit you. We're going to say we're going to decide what you should see," and we don't really want to give you the freedom to decide for yourself. Let me just focus this for you for a moment, okay? The difference between me and Jigsaw is that Jigsaw believes, or the people who run Jigsaw, meaning Google, means that some central authority decides what you need to believe. You know, I can see in my life, just in day-to-day use here, how a certain group of politicians want to tell me what to do and want to tell me what to believe instead of letting me decide. But they want to dictate to me and say, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to eat. This is what you're going to drive. This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to defend yourself. This is your activity. We decide for you. And my attitude is zebra. Zebra. Why should you decide for me? So why should the AI decide what I should see? Don't I have the freedom for something called block? I can block anyone I want on any platform that's built in. It's required. If you go to the terms of service of iOS and Android and all this, they say you have to allow people to block. Now, you know what? Blocking is effective because it's democratic. The decision is left to each individual person to decide what you are going to block. I don't care if 1 million people block an Alex Jones. I don't care. That's fine because it is decided on individually. But when some central authority says, we're going to block X for you, meaning you're not going to see it at all. We decide that some ideas just are not good enough for you, and we're not going to let you see it. And it's like, So think about this, people. Centralized control of information, centralized judgment of thought, centralized judgment of what's right, centralized Chinese Communist Party, centralized. Oh my gosh, CCP. There you go, people. They want us to be zebring CCP. Okay, central economy, centralized thought, centralized idea. Somebody decides what we're going to say and do. And we're not allowed to think and do things like block. Nobody stopped you from blocking. I don't decide what your opinion should be. I don't decide that. You have every right to any opinion you want, but make the decision to block for yourself as individuals, not having never think about a central authority judging this for you, because it's dangerous. Back in the old days, back in the old days, the censorship was being done by the far Christian right. They decided, oh, you're not going to see anything about creationism. So any scientific book that dealt with creationism, Big Bang Theory and multiverse and all that. Well, there was no multiverse back then, but Big Bang Theory and all the different theories, string theory, all that, no. Banned, books burned. You can go back in time, this persists. Somebody's always censoring, doing a censorship of something in the past, in all of history. And today it happens to be Google and Facebook and Apple, and we think, oh, that's a good thing. I mean, my goodness, it just boggles the mind how much interference is done by these players, where they decide that if something doesn't match their opinion, it should be censored. And some of it's pretty benign, and yet it reaches the level of censorship to them because sometimes it's an analogy, sometimes it's a sarcasm, and that doesn't count. Oh, you said something. In fact, the Jigsaw censored me and said, "Oh, I mentioned an anti-Zuck zebra." Almost screwed up there. Okay, I said zebra a lot in my last live stream because that's been my usual way when I do a live stream. I refer to zebra because the platform of Facebook, Zuckerberg's platform, is the worst. And nobody watches me because the AI says I shouldn't say anything bad about Zuckerberg. So, Zuckerberg, you. I guess I can say that. Zuckerberg, you. Okay? So, I can't because the AI decides, oh, you're saying some bad word. So, it's crazy. So, people, what I'm saying to you is no one has stopped you from any side, left or right or middle or whoever you are, from using your own judgment and saying, I don't like to listen to that, so I'm going to say block. Why are you letting a central authority decide for you? Because I know why some of you agree to the central authority, meaning Google, Apple, Facebook, because you happen to agree with Google, Apple, Facebook at the moment. Well, that may be true of some topics that may pertain to something you realize right now, but in a subtle way, they can push any agenda they want if you allow the AI Jigsaw to decide what is important to you. Basically, just to give you an example in a real life case, anything that I talk about related to privacy is basically hidden, and they say, well, this is not an important topic. You need to think about global warming because that's more important. So whatever I say about all of their spying is going to be overwhelmed by the message about global warming. Not to say that that's not necessarily important. I'm just going to say one has to do with freedom. But if I don't mention it, it doesn't get equal platform present. It basically disappears, and we're going to minimize it because we don't really want anybody to criticize Google and Apple and Facebook. And at the moment, nobody's paying attention to me at Google right now because they only want to make money from me. So they're allowing my videos to survive because they make advertising money. But at some point, they're going to say, well, this guy is hurting Google by his statements on degoogling phones and so on. So at some point, they might cut me out. Who knows? In any case, if that happens, make sure you subscribe to me on Odyssey and Brax.me. Two platforms. Odyssey, which is library. Odyssey is owned by library. LBRY, and the link is in the description. Brax.me is my own app. If you subscribe to all of those and YouTube, if anything happens, if they censor me, at least you'll know that you will not lose my message. I will be somewhere. Please do that. Brax.me, you can go run Brax.me on your phone just from the browser, or you can download the app. Someday they might block the app, but we're not gonna really care. There's not that many people on Brax.me. It's not like a big app. This is no WhatsApp with billions of users. Brax.me only has, I checked today, and I think it has 17,000 users, active users from Brax.me. So yeah, that's nothing. Okay, so we don't have anything to fear. We're too invisible. I don't censor on Brax.me. You can say what you want. Each person can censor their own area, but I don't do an app censorship thing because I don't believe in that. You can say whatever you want as long as you respect whoever owns your particular area. That whoever owns the area, you can say what they want. So follow me there, and that's a lot of people are there right now, and we discuss things, and there's no censorship. But because I'm never certain, somebody could block me here overnight, and I'm not really free here, guys. I'm here often having to worry about what I say. And I have to be very sensitive about what I say here. And I don't mention politics. Back in the old days, I used to have a prop. I used to have a prop that was just to give you a hint. I had a bang bang prop. Okay, well, I can't even use a prop, not even real, a prop that's a bang bang prop. I can't even do that because that is going to cause censorship. So I can't even do that, even though that's our right in this country. I can't even do that. So it really bothers me, but that's where we are, and I just need to educate you that these entities, New York Times, Facebook, and others, are actually using an AI to decide the opinions of the world with one AI, and it's called Jigsaw from Google. Okay? Jigsaw from Google. That's what decides. This video, by the way, is sponsored by Linode. Now, let me just talk about Linode for a moment, okay? I have a lot of servers on Linode. I've shifted to Linode. I'm in many data centers, and I've actually consolidated a lot of it in Linode. And I was just making a comment today about my experience with Linode tech support, and I was like amazed at just comparing it to Amazon and to a dozen other data centers. I have dozens of servers. A lot of my stuff runs on I have VPN servers, and I have a lot of servers for my app Braxby and so on, and private websites and so on that I run. And I have dozens of servers, and no one has really given me the kind of service and the savings that I've gotten from Linode. This is honest. This is not because they're advertising and sponsoring this video. We're talking about real experience here. They really are a good company. I mean, I have to say. So if you're interested in cloud services and you want to set up Linux servers, all of my servers are Linux. Somebody made a comment on my video saying, "Oh, why am I following you? You made a video using Windows." It's like, Zuckerberg. Sorry, Zuckerberg. No, my servers are all running Linux. If you're going to ask me, I use all operating systems. The ratio is 10 to 1, maybe 20 to 1 Linux to Windows. So, okay, don't come in to me and say that I don't use Linux. It's like, you got to be kidding me. I have to use what works for me in whatever desktop client, but I am a very, very heavy Linux user. So don't tell me that. I mean, I set up Linux every day, okay? Every day. I'm connecting to my many Linux servers all day. So don't have that attitude. You do what you need to use what you need to use to get the results. Okay, so first 30 minutes was for talking about the topic, and then the next hour or so, less than an hour, is dedicated to answering your questions. So now I will look at your questions and try not to say Z for tonight. I want to test it out. We're going to say zebra. We're going to say zebra tonight, okay? Because, the AI is also looking at your comments. So we're going to say zebra tonight and not, this is a test. If it doesn't work, I don't care. Then we'll go back to the usual. Somebody actually made a comment and said, you say zebra too much. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Okay, if you're so sensitive about that, I'm not even saying a bad word, If you're so sensitive about that, then my goodness, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's what I am. I'm not going to change what I am. It's not a bad word. It's to remind you, because I am not able to in many videos, remind you how dangerous Facebook is. Reminds you. So when I use that word, it is to remind you of the evil of a platform I can't even talk about because I'm not really free. Okay, I'm not really free. So if you think I'm not censored, I'm not free. And some people say, well, you're free. You're on YouTube and you get to say whatever you want. Not really. Okay, if you want to hear me talk things and say things directly without any fear, go to Brax.me. Okay, I don't edit what I say on Brax.me. I edit it here. Okay, the evils of zebra. Thank you for that, Great Gold. Thank you for giving me a word to use for tonight. Zebra. Zebra book. Zebra book. You must be binary. What does that mean? 63K to the moon. By the way, I knew the election was going to slow down my trend, but I actually was growing so fast. I was on my way to getting to 100K in November. Slowed down now, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get to 80K in November. But I actually thought I was going to get to 100K in November, but the election slowed it down, and YouTube is not sharing my videos now. But if YouTube were sharing my videos, yeah, there was a potential for getting to 100K this month, which is amazing. It's like, it's incredible. I think I was only at 35,000 a few weeks ago, and now we're at 63,000. It's slowed down now, but my gosh, this is like amazing. What about that BTC? Another one that's going to be censored. BTC, 15K. Wow. Oh, we're not, I can't tell you that, I guess. 15K. By the way, the high of BTC was 20, and it stayed there only for a brief moment. Mostly 15K is pretty high. So 15K, yes. So, yep, 15K. That's like getting 100K subscribers. 15K on BTC is pretty good. Some of you say, I don't understand this BTC stuff. Well, that's not the point of this video. But, I like anything that gives us privacy, and obviously crypto is one of those tools. So, but, I can't talk about another one thing that's censored here. So I'm not actually able to even spend time talking about it because Google likes to censor anyone talking about crypto. Don't know why. What does that have to do with anything? Crypto censored. A lot of people who are big on crypto have been deleted from YouTube and have gone to Odyssey library. Do you have home security recommendations? Yes, use my own products. But I admit I don't have stock right now. Can you talk about the solutions, multiple identities? You're gonna have to watch a lot of the videos. I'm constantly repeating it. So let me just summarize a big picture for you, Mysticulous. Okay, the basic thing is, if we cannot stop the fact that our devices emit data, and I'm talking about phones and computers. We're emitting data all day just being on the internet. But the AI, Jigsaw, Palantir, all of these, they get really messed up when they can't put the activity to an identity. So basically, since I realized that we cannot stop the release of data, thinking about it over the years, and it really came down to the conclusion that the issue really isn't about hiding what we do, but about confusing the identity to what we do. And when we confuse the identity of what we do, then the AI is confused as well. And if the AI is confused, then they can't really influence you because they're not really certain who you are. Therefore, they don't know what you're thinking. So that is really the crux of what I teach here on this channel. It's not even about cybersecurity. I'm not even caring if you say things, but if you say things in the identity that is not consistent with your real identity, then the AI doesn't really know who said it. Therefore, it's not really that complicated. When I do my de-Google phones, why are the de-Google phones such a big thing? Because the Google phones have no Google ID, no identity, have a fake identity, they have a fake device name, they have fake everything. So Google doesn't really know who owns the Google device. Therefore, they don't even know the IMEI. They don't have access to that because you never logged in. Because they can't attach it to an identity, then the information becomes useless. So everyone with a Google phone really ends up, the Google phone ends up with a disinformation machine. And you don't have to do anything differently. You can run all the usual apps. And when they try to get a device fingerprint, they can't get a fingerprint. That makes sense. They'll just get a generic one that doesn't really tell them who it is. And that's really the secret of everything I teach. And it took me a while to really realize what I'm trying to tell you. And really, it's that simple. If we can't stop the flow of data, all we have to do is stop the identity of the data, in which case then none of it's going to make sense. It becomes what I call disinformation. And by the way, Jigsaw is specifically focused on disinformation. Jigsaw is specifically focused on disinformation in line with fake news, meaning what data is fed to us. But we can feed it wrong information to our own brand of disinformation, and they get confused, and we want to confuse them, and that's really what everything I teach is all about. Okay? You love Saw 2. I got the small palm phone for $100. Wow, that's kind of expensive, King Singh. That's kind of expensive. Goodness. And poison the mind. There you go. So that's really what I teach you is don't worry too much about, the fact that you're emitting data if you make sure that the data is meaningless. And what are the ways to make it meaningless? Strike out the email address, strike out the IP address, strike out the identity, meaning your name, and strike out your location. Really, those 4 things is the key to the AI. If you strike those 4 out, they get really sucking confused. Now, we have to do more. We have to stop browser fingerprinting and all this later on. But just these 4 is enough. And how do you do that? You have multiple identities for different purposes. You set up multiple email accounts with a different purpose without your real name on it. You disguise your phone so that you don't use it for 2FA with the same phone number so they can match the identity. You use a VPN. Somebody said, can you spy on a VPN? I'll probably need to make a video of that, but just to make sure that a lot of these people who claim somebody can be spying on your VPN hasn't really run a VPN. Now, as someone who runs a VPN service, I can tell you right now that there's no data that is useful flowing through a VPN. If you think that I can somehow market that data and do something interesting to it, not going to happen. And maybe back in the old days it could have been useful, but whether you log or not log is not even material. You should not worry about it. I will tell you, maybe I'll tell you that in the video. But truly, you should not have to worry. When you're using a VPN, a lot of people are actually wrong in what they claim about a VPN. And the reason it's wrong is because of HTTPS. Because it's encrypted. And when it flows through the VPN, it's already encrypted. So VPN just gets encrypted traffic since 99.999% of the traffic is now HTTPS. If it's encrypted, then what does the VPN actually get? Timing, like what you were doing at what time. Now, not what you were doing, but that you were somewhere at a certain time. It's pretty limited. And there are many ways to gather that outside of a VPN. You don't need a VPN for that. Okay, they can get that from the ISP. So the VPN itself does not really contribute to that. So if you think that the VPN is somehow going to hurt you, it's false. That is not true from personal experience. Now, the case is, if you do not use a VPN, you are attaching an identity to what you do. And that is the problem, because in my case, my IP address hasn't changed in 18 years. I have the same IP address from Spectrum for the last 18 years. So You don't think that's an identity? Every email you send out has that email address? It's pretty crazy. So, no. If you use a VPN, your email no longer shows that IP address. It shows the IP address of the VPN. So, yes, my product is Bytes VPN. By the way, I didn't tell you this, but if you are interested in using cloud services from Linode offers a $100 credit for up to 60 days. So if you set up a server, even to test servers, like want to watch my video and set up a Jitsi server, Nextcloud server, or anything else that you would like a website on Linode. Some of them are as cheap as $5 a month, but if you want to set up a server on Linode, you can, if you use the link shown there and in the description, but you can see right there, Rob Braxman, you get a $100 credit. So, good company. So honestly, not saying it because they're a sponsor. They really are outstanding tech support wise. I mean, they've done better than any company I have ever worked with. Just single owner, privately owned. Can Linode be set up as a proxy? Yes. Free VPNs are good? Absolutely no. No, because free VPNs are not really VPNs. They're proxies. So free VPNs are not good because what a proxy does is cache your data. So because it caches, then you actually can then easily historically see what you've been up to, which it doesn't exist in a VPN because a VPN just routes directly and there's no cache. So the reason it's free is because they're trying to get something out of you. So that's the only reason it's free. Living it up in the Hotel California, I can attest to Linode's quality. Again, it's not. I don't make that comment for any financial reason. It's, I'm as a user. They really do a good job. Is Tor a good VPN? Tor is not a VPN. Tor is the best, no doubt, but Tor is not a VPN. Tor is a browser. If you need to use Tor as a router, you need equipment to use Tor routers, and I happen to sell that. It's called Brax Router. Brax Router can be used as a Tor router or VPN router. Tor router is free. VPN you have to pay for with a subscription. Brax Router gives you a Tor router. Now, what's the difference between a Tor browser and a Tor router? Tor browser is only for browsing. HTTPS, HTTP, port 443, port 80, very limited. If you send out an email, your emails are going to show your IP address. The only way to stop that is to use a router that routes either to a VPN or to Tor, and then the data will be the IP address of the router or the VPN, or Tor or the VPN. So that's how you become safe. But unfortunately, Tor is very slow. The maximum speed on Tor is 10 megabits. A VPN can go to 50 to 100 megabits, just to give you a comparison. So you don't want to use Tor if you don't have to, because it'll be difficult to watch a video with Tor. It's very, very slow. So that's what you do. You use a VPN when you need to, and then if you need to go extra secure for some reason, because it's a special secret, use Tor. But it's not an everyday thing. It's not your everyday activity. Mr. H, it is slow, painstakingly slow. Yes, nor will they acknowledge it. Okay. Let's see. How do I get up this tracking covert programs? So Bytes VPN, by the way, is my VPN. So I don't really care if lots of people join it, like PIA or Nord or any of these big companies. We don't need a lot of people on Bytes VPN, and that's actually why it's special, because there's a lot of us enough to hide our identity, but it's you don't get a heavy load. It's very easy to deal with it because it's just me, and I over accommodate by having more bandwidth than is necessary for the group. So Bytes VPN has servers all over the world. So it's I'm gonna tell you, it's probably $5 more expensive a year than a competitor. So if that bothers you, I have more expenses because people who use Brax router will route their entire traffic through the VPN, which costs me more, and because I allow more users and more traffic on because there's no traffic limit on my VPN, so I charge you $5 more than the competition, and I'm not really interested in being the lowest price because I don't make enough money from it. So, but it's a service for you guys, and it's really I'm happy to do it. So, Bytes VPN and Brax routers for you will hide your identity, and that's the whole point. Let's see where I got rid of Facebook products. It's my number and phone number compromised. You can't help whatever is out there is out there. So you create information that's new. People do change. Let's say you have a Facebook account. Sorry, let's strike that because I don't want anybody to risk going to Facebook. Let's say you have a LinkedIn account, and somehow your identity on LinkedIn is shown with that name doing things on the internet that maybe relate to politics. How about shifting activity on that account so that it starts to think a little differently and build it over time? And, occasionally, go to some website that is not conforming to the original belief and confuse the issue with the LinkedIn account. Somebody mentioned this LinkedIn thing, which is really, really interesting. Somebody said, hey, it's good to have a LinkedIn account for disinformation. I have to agree because I didn't really study this too much and I didn't really think about it, but I actually have a LinkedIn account that is perfect for that. And what LinkedIn does, let's say you create a fake name. Let's say you call yourself Great Gold, Mr. Great Gold. And you actually set up a LinkedIn with the name Mr. Great Gold. And you put whatever you want to put on the LinkedIn for Mr. Great Gold. You see, LinkedIn gives legitimacy. I don't know why people believe that whatever you put on LinkedIn is actually true. So you can put stuff on LinkedIn and, put a resume in there and then make people think that that is actually your identity. And there you go. You've actually given a legitimate identity to maybe a fake identity, and no one would question it because people actually believe LinkedIn. People think you're never going to lie about your LinkedIn account because you're looking for employment. Use that as an opportunity. Hey, if I create a fake name, not a name like 2 Cardinals and a pack of Marlboro Reds, but some real name, like James Bergeson, some real sounding name. And then you go and set up a LinkedIn for it and create an identity. You wouldn't believe how realistic that would look. And that was actually create disinformation in a way that I never thought would be as legitimate as just sending out garbage. Because LinkedIn has a special meaning. Not Facebook, though, because Facebook will spy on you. LinkedIn doesn't have that. So if you create a fake name with LinkedIn, I actually did that and I forgot about it. And I actually haven't been on LinkedIn in years, and my fake identity is still there. I wonder what happened to it. They're probably like feeding me requests for to review employment opportunities. And I don't even know what my password is. I haven't been there. I haven't been there since it was purchased by Microsoft. Can CAPTCHAs be used to identify? No. I've tried so many times using my mobile IPVM machine, legit bio, and this person doesn't exist. They somehow knew it's fake. Well, you didn't do a good job then. You got to do a better job with identifying yourself. Um, have one thing in common. Do you know it? What do they have in common? That they all invested in Facebook? What? What do they have in common? Current market cap of the new Palantir stock is 20 billion. Yeah, seems low. Yeah, at one point Oracle offered 60 billion for them. They refused. They ought to think about that now. But the fact is, the reason it's fake is because Palantir offered the stock for 20 billion, but most of the stock is owned by the original owners, and so the valuation is actually much bigger. And so yeah, very few people actually can affect the value of Palantir because it's still owned mostly by Peter Thiel and so on. Meticulous. Meticulous. Is that what that's supposed to mean? Meticulous. See, I didn't even know that. It was meticulous. Now that you say it, it's like meticulous. That makes sense. That makes sense. By the way, guys, come join us in Braxme. What is unique about the Braxme platform? There's no identity. We don't really care who you are. Come in there, and you don't have to state your name, your identity. There's no IP address tracking. It's open source, and hang out and talk, with other people about privacy related issues. And it's a lot of you here are on there. There's, like I said, how many subscribers do I have here? I have 63,000 subscribers here, and 17,000 of you are on Braxme. So that's pretty awesome. So come on down. Nothing is bad. It just depends on how well that's maintained. Come back to Brax Hockey Rules. Hockey Rules is here. Where's Hockey Rules? I didn't see Hockey Rules. Hockey Rules is from Periscope. So what's a secure video sharing service called? It's called Jitsi, and I offered to you free. It's called meet.brax.live. Okay, so if you want to use a safe, very safe video service, just use meet.brax.live. And it's better if you set one up, but if you don't want to set one up, use mine. Meet.brax.live. Not too many people are using it, so it should be it's not going to be overloaded. Not too many people use it. Meet.brax.live. Only I forgot, and years later my boss saw it and was like, what the? A high school buddy wigged him out when I made a LinkedIn account saying I worked for the government. So you're learning this information. This information, by the way, Jigsaw advertises on its thing that its main thing is to fight disinformation. Well, if Jigsaw is going to fight us, then we're going to fight back. Because Jigsaw makes his decisions by knowing your profile, knowing everything about you from Google. And if you screw up your identity on Google, you basically are fighting back against Jigsaw. So disinformation against disinformation. So we're going to fight. We're going to give them this information. If you start seeing a pattern about what is being fed to you on YouTube, then it suggests that the AI is onto you. And sometimes I feel like it does that, and then I clear the cookies, and then it forgets. So it doesn't seem to be a permanent thing, but you never know. So I'm keeping an eye on it. So 17,000, that is a pretty big accomplishment, really. Not really 17,000. I mean 17,000 users on the platform. Actually, I had 150,000 corporate users on the platform before. But that's moved to a different entity now. So I lost 150,000 users. But there was 150,000 corporate users. So Braxme no longer has a corporate service. So what is your GPG public key used for? For people who want to email or talk encrypted, you can use my key and then I automatically can decrypt it. I noticed election results showing up on one Google account but not another one. See, that's a problem. Because the AI knows who you are, the search engine also knows what to feed you. And if you think it's just the search, you are wrong, because when you go to any platform, they're able to then discern what you should see, and they can actually filter out content on mainstream media just by using Jigsaw. They can even filter out and remove comments that you see right on, social media, depending on how they set this up. And I'm not exactly sure if they set it up to do it on the fly or they pre-identify it based on judgments made by a New York Times or Facebook, or if they base it on you. I don't know, because you can do it both ways. You can do both ways. Hey Art, how are you doing, Art? Got your many emails on using BraxAdme on iOS. So you're saying Art saying my link is wrong. He said just looking up the fingerprint. Fingerprint is basically anything that ties to your data with an identity, and then all the data about what you've been doing. They said we have a collection of activity, web searches, politics, profile, whatever. And once they put an identity to it, say, this is actually Bryce Johnson. This is Bryce Johnson's data. Once they do that, you are zucked. So the key is where they know identity, they know activity for a person, but they said, we don't really know who this is. And it looks like 100 people. Well, 100 people is like nothing. Is meaningless data. If they can't attribute it to one person, they basically have nothing. They take it out of their database. They strike it out. This is what a data scientist does. You should see the videos about what data scientists analyze, and you'll start to understand their difficulty. So, what's the best way to set up a dummy Google account? Why is that hard? Set up a VPN, use a new Gmail account. Set up a browser specifically using that Gmail account. Use browser isolation. So if you are like me, I have many browsers running at the same time. I'm looking at my computer right now. I have 4 browsers active right now on my computer. And I don't use Facebook. If I had Facebook, then I need 5 browsers. I need an extra browser just for Facebook, which, it needs its own. But I segregate Google into its own browser. I segregate Facebook in its own browser. And then that will actually reduce the ability to attribute any activity that I do on the internet that has nothing to do with Google. They already know what I do in Google. So by keeping it to, not knowing what I do outside of Google, then they have no other information. And by putting a router in your home to VPN the entire family, not just you, but every user in your household, then you're making sure nobody connects any data, because that's one of the big problems. So you can't do it by yourself. So some of you say, all I have to do is put a VPN on my computer, but your children are not on the VPN. They're zucked. They're zucking you. Sorry, Zuckerberging. They're Zuckerberging you. Okay, so if you don't want to be zebra'd, then you basically need to use a VPN, so that all in the household use a VPN, with a few exceptions like banking and so on. If you do the majority of the stuff you do on the VPN, even with exceptions like banking, it doesn't make any difference. The big picture is that what is being seen about you is what is in the VPN address. And if you attach that to a different identity, the AI is going to be utterly confused. Any VPN recommendations? J.R. Bow J.R. Ball. My gosh. The only recommendation is bytesvpn.com, B-Y-T-Z VPN.com, which is on my description. JR Pro. What was the name again? JR? Come on. Do you trust Nord? Who's Nord? Is there a Mr. Nord? Who's that? Well, Bytes VPN is me. I own Bytes VPN. There's nobody else involved with Bytes VPN but me. And so, if you're watching this channel, maybe I elicit some sort of trust. And if so, then support the channel by getting Bytes VPN, and you will not be disappointed. It's really a good VPN, and they offer very good service and personal service. And every one of you who use Bytes VPN gets personal service from me and my staff. So, yes, Bytes VPN. Forget about all the VPN. Did you know that Google has its own VPN? Do you really want to trust that kind of power to a central authority? Google VPN? Seriously. Anytime you centralize something to a big player, you ought to wonder. Just like you do not centralize your DNS, you don't centralize anything to a big player like that can control a big chunk of the population. You don't want that. So, I can't do anything to your data. There's not that many of you for me to profit from your data. So I'm actually pretty helpless with that, other than making money off the VPN. A big company with, millions of subscribers can say, "Oh, I can collect that data." Well, I don't have that luxury, and I told you again, there's really no data to collect, and you'll actually learn about that if you understand what actually happens when you run a VPN. As I've been running a VPN for years here, and I could tell you specifically what I see, which is basically nothing. Nothing. Whether I log or not log, there's nothing. Okay? And the reason for that, as I explained, is that most people are 99.9% of the traffic is HTTPS. So you see nothing. Nothing. Okay? Google starting up a VPN. What about privacy on status? I don't know what a status browser is. You should do a video on the best wallet for BTC. Why do I need to do that, Eagle Source? Do you want me to get censored by YouTube? They don't want me talking about crypto. The question about overloading the algo with queries is a good question. The question about overloading the algo with queries is a good question. You can't overload an AI. Come on. You confuse the AI very simply by eliminating the index to your identity. It's that simple. Eliminate the index. If you want to use Sailfish, you can use Sailfish, but I can't do Sailfish here in the US. Sailfish is not available to the USA. Why not? I have no idea, but I can't use Sailfish in the USA. I can't sell Sailfish. There's really nothing I can do. So it's I can look at cat porn using your VPN. You can do anything on my VPN. There's no restriction. Actually, no, that's not true. There is a restriction on my VPN. I don't want people who use BitTorrent using the VPN. If you're gonna use BitTorrent on the VPN, no, go use Nord VPN. If you're gonna use BitTorrent, do not go to my VPN, please. That's partly what keeps us in a small community where we're not being tracked. Is we got to get rid of BitTorrent. BitTorrent, unfortunately, is being spied on by everyone. And so if you're going to use BitTorrent, do not go on my VPN. I don't recommend it. Go to NordVPN. Okay, if you love BitTorrent and you're going to use BitTorrent, go to NordVPN. Don't go on my VPN. Okay, so those who do not use BitTorrent, please consider Bytes VPN. Okay. Otherwise, if you love BitTorrent, then my VPN is not it. not it. I don't actually want you. So if you're a spammer, you run spamming services, I don't want you. If I don't want any bad guys on the VPN. I don't really, it's just trouble. Okay? It just increases my cost for no purpose. It's just keep it to a nice bunch of people. If you're nice and I don't care what you do on the VPN, but if you don't do BitTorrent, you're nice. As far as I'm concerned, if you don't use BitTorrent, you're a nice guy. And then you can do what you want. How do you know if your customer uses BitTorrent? Because BitTorrent people, the ones that you connect to on BitTorrent are spying on you, and then they come to me and say, such and such connected to BitTorrent, whatever, and download it or allow the download of such and such copyrighted movies. And it's like, so you're basically downloading from somebody that wants to capture your data. So, it's a different world now. BitTorrent used to be so simple. Now, 90% of the people you're downloading from you are not actually normal users. They're actually there to capture your IP address and try to get money from you with a lawsuit. So they're actually just law firms doing that. So yeah, it's a game. There's other ways to do it. You know what you do? You watch a movie by streaming. Don't download it. Stream. If you can find a place to stream, you can do that on a VPN. Do streaming. Don't do downloads. Okay? Don't do downloads. Just stream it. Streaming on a VPN, that's fine. I2P, unfortunately, does not offer any solution for BitTorrent. Disable JS? Nonsense. It doesn't do anything. How do you even... Might as well go to a cave if you're going to disable JS. What do you think about status? I don't know what a status browser is, so I don't know. There could be, somebody could invent a new browser by taking Chromium and making a new fork tomorrow and then just changing the name, nothing else. Say, I got a new browser. Waste of time. Okay? So, the setting up a Tor relay on your LAN help increase your privacy significantly over using an Onion browser alone. You can't just use an Onion browser. A browser is not a good idea. You want to do Tor routing. So that alone is suspicious, just the way you said that. You want to do Tor routing, or otherwise known as SOCKS 5 routing. You want to route your entire internet, not just a browser. It's pretty pointless. What is the point of routing your browser when a DNS leak will identify you on the site anyway? You don't want that. Yeah, they could say, oh, we captured the DNS. No, just do routing. Like Unix does routing, Cubes does SOCKS 5 routing, and Brax router does SOCKS 5 routing, a VPN does SOCKS 5 routing. That's what you want. SOCKS 5 means all internet activity, not just browsing. Wow, you have a really round face. Wow, I guess I'm so fat. Okay. Someone should start track up Netscape for browser. Any anonymizing solution for SIP traffic other than VPN, since Tor has extra latency. VPN, I guess. Some SIP traffic, if you can set it up, so you can send SIP over to your own XMPP server. A little complex to talk about, but just telling you. Okay, XMPP is one of the solutions. Unix being Tor is kind of limited because it's it's slow. So instead of doing Unix, which is a great solution, but instead of using Unix, I use a Brax router, which is the same concept as Unix. Unix is two machines. One machine to be the user interface machine, and then it goes to another machine, which is the router. The router in Unix is the second VM, virtual machine, which is routing to Tor. Well, in my case, I just set up my first machine, then it routes to Brax router, which is hardware. So basically, I do the same thing, except I moved it to hardware so people don't have to learn about using Unix, which is very, very difficult to use. So Brax router is the same kind of solution, and Brax is it's SOX 5, and you can use it as a Tor router. However, Tor router is slow, so you have the option to go VPN routing, which is what I suggest for normal use, is to use VPN routing. Okay, because just usability. I mean, if you're really secure, if you're Snowden, I'd probably stick to Tor routing only forever, and have an actual device for hardware like Brax router for Tor routing. That would be the best for you. And Tor router, Brax router does not need a kill switch. You cannot route if the connection dies. It doesn't have that. Oh, the connection died, it exposed you. A Brax router will not expose you ever. It just stops working. Can you say marked instead of, can you say marked? You've been marked. Yeah, but that sounds like I'm saying something else. I don't use wireless home anymore, just cables. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's more secure actually to not use Wi-Fi until WPA3 is clean and everybody uses WPA3, which is non-existent at the moment. We're stuck with the reality that all Wi-Fi can be hacked. Given enough time, every single Wi-Fi can be hacked. Bytes VPN, Brax router supports gigabit. A VPN has to share resources, so it's impossible for one VPN to give you gigabit speed. I mean, no VPN does that. I mean, you'd have to set up your private VPN, which kind of defeats the purpose. No, nobody's going to get, VPN. That means that for me to do that, that means my server has to be 40 gigs in, 40 gigs out, gigabits. I mean, that's expensive. I mean, want to set it up on your own and see how much that costs? That's not cheap. So no. So it's not realistic. I mean, don't set these goals that are not realistic, okay? The objective of VPN is to hide your identity with traffic being reasonable. But if you're expecting, well, I want some high speed, well, set up your own VPN then. You're not going to be safe, but set up your own private VPN. You want me to set it up for you? Yes, I can do that. It's going to cost you a lot to run it. It's costly. So yes, you can have a dedicated server with 40 gigs in, 40 gigs out. It's going to be expensive. It could be, $100 a month. If you're willing to do that, you can have your private VPN. But that's not the point. Okay, some of you are arguing, well, my VPN doesn't get this kind of speed. Well, what are you trying to accomplish, people? We're only, we're not trying to create, corporate traffic with gigabit speeds here. We're just trying to hide your identity. As long as the VPN does not affect your normal usage with watching videos and watching YouTubes and doing normal activity, that's the purpose. If your purpose is, well, I can't have a VPN that doesn't have gigabit. Well, nobody's going to have that because it's too expensive. Okay, you have to share bandwidth of, typically a VPN has a gigabit bandwidth. So obviously, if two people use it, then you're down to 500 apiece. 4 people use it, you're down to 250 apiece. Well, fortunately, people don't use it simultaneously, so you're able to average the traffic out. But yeah, just keep to the purpose. So yes, you can do anything you want. If you say, well, I'm going to go, I want a VPN with, a gigabit bits per second, which, I can't even get that on the internet. So how do you get that on the VPN when my internet doesn't, tops out at 100? with all the traffic where I am, I don't get more than 100, even, and websites don't even get near that. Okay? So, yeah, if your expectation of that, you probably shouldn't use a VPN if your expectations are such. I don't have any thoughts on any other VPN. The VPN you should use is bytesvpn.com, which is my VPN. If you want to support this channel, if you're interested in supporting this channel, it's very simple. You can use a Brax router, which is a VPN router or Tor router, and you can use Bytes VPN. And, if you're going to buy VPN anyway, you're not going to spend much more than anybody else. It's the same. $89 a year. $89 a year is all it costs to use my VPN. Braxme is my platform. It's a privacy social media platform. I don't say anything. Rob Gibbs. I don't say anything. How many more years do we have before the AI takes over? If you keep sending it disinformation, you may have a lot of years. Is AMD safer than Intel in terms of IME? AMD has something the same as IME. So don't assume that. But the consumer models, since trying to remember here, since the at least 8th generation, most of the consumer laptops no longer have IME or vPro. Jigsaw is the AI of Google. Watch my video on politics or profiled, and it mentions Jigsaw. Jigsaw is used by many, many platforms to censor you, like Twitter. And I don't know if Twitter is using Jigsaw, but they're using something like Jigsaw. New York Times, Facebook, they use Jigsaw. How do I know? Because they said so. So some people are using Jigsaw. We don't know if they're using it or not because they don't say so. Do you know anything about LTE hotspots inserting unique identifier header tracking into HTTP headers? You can't do that, Jack O'Neill. You can't do that. If you understand IP protocol, at what layer are you going to insert a UIDH? You can only insert that for the carrier, but you can't insert that outside of that. No. In the carrier, they can route you in the carrier through some transport that can wrap your traffic in something else, just like a VPN would, and then they can do anything, but not outside of that. When it leaves their platform, then it can't, and they can do it anyway because they have the traffic and identity to your IMEI and all that. Do you have any advice for setting up a website domain for 1 year or monthly or something? I would say set up WordPress on Linode, and you can do it for as little as $5 a month, then plus the cost of the domain per year. Just woke up. What is Jigsaw? Just watch the first 30 minutes, and then you'll hear me talking about Jigsaw. What do you mean a VPN router, Tor router? I thought it was all one if you get the one with router, not the software. Yeah, meaning you have the option. You switch it. If you have a Brax router, you can switch it to be Tor only, which case is free. Or you can say VPN, in which case you need a VPN subscription. So it's up to you. You can use it either way you want. If you're using it like a Tor router, which is free forever, you're limited to 10 megabits, which is the maximum you can get from Tor. It's the most secure, and by doing so, you're running it like Unix. So if you're using Windows, for example, with a Tor router, you're running your Windows like Unix. So it's very nice. but it is slow. So when you feel like that's too slow for you, you switch and say, let me get a VPN subscription, and it works fast. Are you getting my messages, comments here visible? Yes, Mickey Leaks. Although that's the first one I've seen. I just ordered a Purism Librem 14. Okay. What does Tor do? Watch my Tor video. Tor is the only secure, super secure way on the internet that's probably the most difficult for anyone to track. So if you want to hide your IP address, Tor is the best, but it's slow. So it's not practical for everything. Do you have a Telegram channel? Hell no. Do I have a Brax.me channel? Yes, I own Brax.me. So all you have to do is join us on Brax.me. You can use an app. You don't have to use an app if you're an F-Droid. If you are in a Google phone, you can download the APK directly, or you can get it from the Aurora store or not. I have an APK that's separate. Or you can just run it from a browser. If you have a Ubuntu Touch, you can run it. There's an app on Ubuntu Touch store. So there you go. Who has more access to our data, a cybersecurity specialist or a data scientist? A cybersecurity specialist who works for a corporation obviously has data on you on the corporation. A data scientist at Palantir has a lot of information about you compiled from, a lot of databases. Tor is a honeypot. No, it's not. Utter nonsense. Okay. Wadur Paladin says JWAG is correct. No, I can't think of a reason why that would be the case. No, makes no sense. Okay. At the moment, I can't think of a logical reason for that. Prasad, what will Patreon members get in addition to what is on YouTube? You don't have to go on Patreon. If you feel like you want something, just buy product. You don't have to go on Patreon, just buy product. If you feel like Tor is a honeypot, then don't use Tor. I don't feel like Tor is a honeypot. The infrastructure doesn't allow it to be a honeypot in the actual definition of what a honeypot is. Okay? So no, I don't think so. Even Snowden knew that he released a document saying the NSA was having difficulty with Tor. But watch my Tor video to see how you can break Tor, which you don't actually break the Tor encryption. You can break it outside of Tor. Do you do face-to-face consultation? No. I don't even do audio on the phone. My consultation is chat only. I don't have time for anything else. Snowden is a specialist. What makes him any specialist than I am? DNS level Tor. Well, if you're using a Tor browser, then we're talking about something else. I use a Tor router. SOCKS 5. We're not talking about the same thing. Start TLS, make email safe. What does safe mean to you? Some proportion of traffic will be encrypted with Start TLS. Start TLS between client and server is almost purely Start TLS now, but MTA to MTA, a small number or small percentage is Start TLS and the rest is not. I don't know what the percentage is now, but at one point it was only 25%. So even if the number is 50% traffic is Start TLS, what does that really tell me? But the owner of the the email servers. It does not require any TLS. They can read everything. So how is that secure? Thoughts on almost all tech companies having R&D in Israel? I don't have any thoughts. It is what it is. What's the most private search engine? I use DuckDuckGo myself. Okay, if you want to use Startpage, you can do that. I use DuckDuckGo. I was getting too many captcha codes on Startpage. So the best DNS is the DNS used with a VPN. It doesn't matter what the DNS is. Why is that? Because Bytes VPN, my VPN, actually uses Pi-hole as the DNS. So Pi-hole then makes sure that your DNS is cleared of trackers. So it only allows approved domains. So Pi-hole is built into your Bytes VPN subscription. Okay, what do you think about Azure environment for dev? I don't think about it. If I can help it, I'm not going to think about anything Azure. Besides, it's expensive. I've never used Azure. Somebody, I had a corporate client who was saying, we need you to move your stuff to Azure. And you know what I was responding to that? Zebra U. No. Why would I double, triple my cost just to go to Azure? What's the benefit? Just because it's Microsoft? No. So I use Linode. Well, I don't use only Linode, but I also use AWS. But I wish I could use Linode only, but I can't. Will you be able to Google the newer motor phones? No. I can only Google what I can Google based on how much time I have to learn it. So just stick to, and what supply I can get. It's the Bytes VPN client on Linux Ubuntu. Bytes VPN uses OpenVPN, so it's standard. You don't need anything else. Bytes VPN uses OpenVPN, which is built into Ubuntu Network Manager. Thank you, ZaxZon34. Thank you so much. How does the Brax router impact network latency? I wouldn't use it for gaming. I would split my network up so that gaming doesn't really emit the metadata that we care about. So I would just say put gaming on the non-VPN side and put the rest of your browsing activities and such on the VPN side. There's no need to put gaming on the VPN side. Latency is not so big of an issue, but why? There's no need. I mean, you gotta have a reason for it. Okay, we're out of time here. Okay, so we're out of time, and thank you for watching. Again, if you want to get to the main topic that's in the title, it's in the first 30 minutes of the broadcast. First 30 minutes. So when I end this, you're going to go watch the first 30 minutes. Then you can see what I said there. Why do you trust DuckDuckGo? What am I going to trust? Google? I have a VPN, I don't have to completely trust DuckDuckGo, but I do have a VPN. Okay? So, okay, guys, thank you so much. And watch that latest video on because it's connected to what I'm talking about today on politics is profiled, and I'll see you next week on the normal schedule for our videos, Thursday video and Friday live stream. So see you then. It's funny, Thanksgiving is coming up soon, and wow, this is a strange time, isn't it? Strange time. Okay, good night, guys. Good night, my friend. Bye-bye.